why don't you hit us with a recap of the events of Amazing Spider-Man Volume 6, number 62, just in case people weren't able to pick it up and read it.
Like you're going to understand it anymore by my recap. Okay. I'm expecting the heavy hand of domineering Dan Gavazan to insert some copy edits into my recap, but it's not like any of you can tell whether or not I'm reading this cold, because it's all Greek to me. Greek being Joe Kelly's writing. So we open with Peter in the shower. He tells himself, "You got this, Spider-Man." Then we're in the Sanctum Sanctorum, home base of the former Sorcerer Supreme, Dr. Strange. Spidey is conjuring the sempiternal shield of Strickmore. I tried, folks. But Strange's astral form is telling Spidey that he's doing it wrong. The shield should be resplendently gold, not green. Duh. What the hell? Anyway, now Spidey and Strange are teaming up with Black Cat to steal a grimoire to help him fight the Scions, and are facing off against the undead security forces of the Sanctum. Spidey is training to align multiple extra-dimensional aspects of a single object at a single point in time, as Strange has instructed him, and like Spidey is apt to do, I guess. Spidey then summons the wonderful Window Smasher of Wahoo, which isn't actually a spell, but you could have fooled me. With the magic book now in Spidey's hands, Felicia asks the magic meta question of Strange. Why is this Spider-Man's problem again? Because reasons, goddammit. Stop trying to derail Joe Kelly's Spider-Man magnum opus, Felicia. Anyway, Spidey tells Felicia not to worry. He has the Reeds, not the Reed Richards, which are like lives in Nintendo terms. Too bad there's no Konami code. Ha! Felicia swings off in a huff because Spidey only seems to call her when he's in crisis, and Spider-Man reminds Strange he wasn't bitten by a radioactive Romeo, who also famously died. Fair enough, but wait, Spidey, why does that matter? Aren't you happily dating Shay? Anyway, Peter wants Strange to tell him how to win, but Strange lets him know there is no winning. Basically, it's just try not to die too many more times, since Strange has never defeated Sidorak in less than 8 deaths. That's definitely not going to come back to haunt Spidey. We flash over to longtime Spider-Man universe setting, the Crimson Cosmos. A demon named Calyx states the obvious. Strange is powerless, Doom doesn't want to bother with the task, and the fate of the world rests on Spider-Man's shoulders. Sidorak cockily boasts that if he wanted Earth, he'd have it, but the Covenant is just his way of proving his worth. Calyx's twin sister, who I don't think gets a name, but I guess if you looked it up online, you could figure it out, comes in to make fun of both of them, and woo, this is starting to lose me big time. Fortunately, we flash back to Peter and Norman Osborn? Wait, are these two characters speaking again? Like, did Peter forgive Norman for turning him into a goblin? It's Nick Lowe's universe, baby. None of this context matters. Anyway, Norman shuts down Oscorp, so at least some of the storyline is following through. Also, he brought pizza, which makes all of this a-okay for Peter. Anyway, Norman warns Peter about dying too many times. It can drive a person crazy. Like a goblin, right? Anyway, Peter gets suddenly teleported to Citi Field, home of the New York Mets. I hope they play the OMG song. That thing is a bop. Did you ever listen to it, Dan? It's really good.
I did, actually. Thank you for that recommendation.
You got it. Oh, wait. Instead, he's off to fight Cyperion, a new Scion. He's got a scythe. Spidey wants to come back in an hour, but Cyperion doesn't do rain checks, and the fight is on. The Scion mocks Spider-Man for verbally shouting his spells like the noob that he is. Where's Leroy Jenkins when you need him? Apparently, this guy's weapon plays with infinite space, and Spidey is sent into Citi Field's scoreboard like he's a baseball crushed by Francisco Lindor in a clinching game against the Phillies. Shout out to all of our Philly fans out there. Anyway, I'm losing the thread and thinking about baseball, which makes infinitely more sense to me than this infinite space fight. As the fight progresses, Spidey and Cyperion are shrunk as small as molecules in the Quantumverse. Then Spidey, following a theory he has about quantum space being recursive, comes out of the other end of the quantum realm, becoming both the smallest and the biggest thing at the same time, which sets up cause of death number 2, instantaneous dissolution of atoms through an infinitely recursive fold of space. Say that 10 times fast. I prefer not to. And I guess Cyperion died too, or he went back to his home planet. I don't know. Seems weird to have that important detail happen off panel. But here we are, folks. Part 2 of the 8 Deaths of Spider-Man. Post-death, Coulson is there again to collect a reed and send Peter back to the world of the living. It is there we see that Peter's eyes have turned blue, if only for a moment, as he catches back up to the real world. We find Peter back with Shay and Randy looking pretty traumatized by it all, but it's not like anyone notices he's acting strange. Kevin, from the last issue, remember Kevin, is at the next table. Shay and Randy try to cheer Peter up, but just to sour the mood, everyone is frozen in time and a demon child, who could conceivably be Peter and MJ's child, shows up on a tricycle. Woo!